Real quickly before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know something we're doing over on my Twitter. I know we just did a little giveaway of an Elgato, but this time we're actually doing something that I had some leftover goodies from the actual reveal event. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm giving away a few things from that being a poster, a t-shirt, a keychain, and a rally towel. If you guys want to check that out, link is in the description below to the tweet. All you have to do is retweet and follow to enter, and I'll be picking the winner at the end of the week. I ended up getting 2 of each, so honestly, I don't need double of everything, so I figured I'd give away some stuff to anybody that was interested. So that link is again in the description below to the tweet if you guys want to go check that out. But that said, let's jump into the regularly scheduled content. Yesterday we talked about a few things that I expect to be coming within the Call of Duty World War II update on Tuesday. As always, right now we have absolutely no idea if any of the stuff we talked about yesterday will come true, but the one thing that we did mention was that of potentially a new mode, either that being for if there's an event, or if we end up seeing a new weekend warfare playlist added in, to which again, we've seen a lot of cool things as of recently. The throwback playlist, one shot, and this week is a free access to Valkyrie, which isn't necessarily a brand new mode, but still, we get all kinds of cool stuff thrown in the mix here as time progresses. So that kind of prompted me a little bit further because I was thinking, you know what, well, we've kind of used up a lot of what we've seen already, but that's not exactly the case, because today I want to take a look at 8 different game modes that are secret or hidden within the game files and game code that we could potentially see at any point. Some, of course, at the time of whenever we saw them data mined, did need a little bit of work in development, but that was a few months ago, so we still very well could see some of these progress in development. We still could see more of these end up coming out as time progresses, and maybe even as of Tuesday or for the weekend warfare playlist later on in the week. One small disclaimer though is that these are still things that are data mined, so there unfortunately cannot be images or video tossed up on screen simply because it's not public, so therefore it'd be an infringement of copyright. But I'll do my best to give some relative examples of either past gameplay where these modes have been in the games, or any other relative examples that I can, so that it makes it a little bit more of a smooth transition process between my explanation and getting it across to you guys. But I guess we can just jump right into it. So starting us off with number 1 here today, that is one called a Lockdown. Now this is one that is a little bit weird in the sense that it's a base modifier of domination. It's a little bit of an alteration to that. Same with the second one we'll talk about here at this, so we'll get those out of the way firstly. But Lockdown is something in which you have your 3 flags as you do with domination, but it's a little bit different in the scoring and how things work. So domination, as you guys know, you gain score for every single flag that you capture. If you capture 1 flag and nobody captures B flag, well then each team still gets the respective home points for those flags. But in Lockdown, it's a little bit different because you have to capture B flag in order to end up getting points at all. And the caveat is that whenever you end up getting that B flag, your team is the only team that will get those points. So it's a giant game of tug of war essentially, in which you have to control 2 of the 3 flags to gain any points at all, and if you don't, your team does not gain points. So therefore, it's again kind of a little bit of a modified version of how domination would work. That's something that's been in the game files for quite some time, and actually was even there pre-release. We ended up seeing this beforehand off of the PC beta build, in which people were able to data mine the stuff there. So this is something that was there from the very beginning. Whether or not it's been worked on or not, it might be a little bit more likely to be dropped now since we haven't seen it at all yet, but it is something that was in there and is still there if you were to take a look. After that, the second game mode is called Control, in which again, that's another modifier of domination. This time there is only 1 singular flag that you need to capture, but whenever you go in and jump into a game, it's almost like a hardpoint sort of delay on it, where it's not as short as a hardpoint delay where it takes a few seconds to spawn in. You actually have 30 seconds to get to that domination flag, and then that's whenever things will start to be able to be captured. Now, this again is very similar to hardpoint and domination kind of put together and meshed into one, because at the time there's only 1 control point in which you need to capture, and it is something you capture it like a domination flag. But again, here's where it kind of comes into a little bit of a difference, because what we see in the World War II build is that you only have that 1 flag, it doesn't rotate around, and you only gain points by controlling it. So that's another sort of version of tug of war essentially, because your entire team is fighting over 1 spot on the map the entire game, or entire round. We don't know if there is something in which it switches for a different round where it goes from one side to the next, but it is round based similar to domination as well. So that's something that again is interesting in how that works. But one thing that I was honestly thinking about is maybe this was a test build or possibly a modifier for something, because that is something we've seen before in World War II. I don't know if you guys remember back fact there was a BR or Battle Royale mode in World War II. That was just a modifier or test playlist for free-for-all. Didn't actually resemble any of the Battle Royale games that we see throughout the industry today, but my thinking is that maybe this was the very first base workings of the control mode that we end up seeing in Black Ops 4. Because like we showcased, there is a control mode within Black Ops 4 in which it is very similar to this sort of thing where there's not one but two stable positions in which you need to capture that are very similar to Hardpoint in the sense where they don't move. They are positions where attackers need to come and actually take that, defenders need to defend it, but you also have a finite number of lives, that being limited to 25 per round per team. So it might be something where this was the base build of this was the very first working building blocks of that, but again, it's very cool to see, and maybe we end up seeing it in time, maybe we don't, but to me, it's definitely something very cool to explore. The third one we're gonna breeze through just because there is literally no information out there of it other than just a designation in the game files. It's called Aces. Your guess is honestly as good as mine as to what this could be, but again, we don't really have all that much information on it. So this one, to me, more so likely than not, is something that was cut or just not going to see the light of day within World War II. So that's something that was always interesting to me. I was really hoping to see some sort of progression through it because this was something that, again, was listed from that PC beta build that was data mined. But since then, we really haven't seen much of anything go really into it. Maybe it ended up being transferred into something else. Maybe it ended up turning up to be something like a demolition, like a one-shot, something like that, where it was a just code name that made no sense and then was transferred somewhere else once it finally was made live. But again, your guess is as good as mine with that one. Just wanted to mention it though because it is something that was there from the very beginning. But the fourth one I want to talk about is one that honestly, I know a lot of people are really gonna love and really hope for, and I'm really hoping for it too. So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say like this is not gonna happen. I just think that it's weird how it's been held off for so long, but we'll see if this ends up coming out. But that being Infected. So of course we all know how Infected works. It's a fan favorite across so many different titles, and for the past couple of years, it's something that is honestly a lot of fun no matter how you play it, how you spin it. And with it being potentially in World War II, that's one thing that is very nice, is that you can end up having that higher tier streak, like a Moab, like a Chem streak, but in World War II, obviously a V2 rocket. So I'm wondering how and if they will play this out, but it is there in the game files. As of a couple of months ago, it was something that was there still and even progressed a little further. The only thing though is that you weren't able to actually spawn in when you ended up checking this out. So you were able to spectate, but everybody else also only spawned in with shovels, and so there were no weapons associated with it. But we'll see if that progression ended up actually getting anything more. As of, again, the next title update, which is probably going to be Tuesday, they're probably going to classify that as the title update. PC players are probably going to have a field day trying to dig around for what's new and everything that is still hidden within the game file. So we may very well see an update with this in the next couple of days to weeks, but I want to let you guys know about this because it is in World War II, and it is something that, of course, is a fan favorite, and we're all waiting on it. So your move, Sledgehammer, I guess, but we'll see what happens with that one. But the next thing I want to talk about deals with one called Blades, in which this actually is a game mode, but also a sort of different, like, umbrella of game modes, if you want to put it that way, because there are different things associated with it underneath it, but that also at the top level is its own game mode, if that makes any sense. So for this, the first thing listed with Blades is literally just attack knife only. It's a game mode where there's no weapons other than pistols with tactical knives. There are no bullets. There's nothing that you can actually end up using other than your tactical knife. So it's something that is literally just a for fun type of thing like that. Again, I don't know if this will ever make it to the light of day, but it's a very interesting concept, and I know a lot of people that go for knives would definitely love to see this one. Maybe there are throwing knives in, but in the build that I saw a couple of months back in the terms of what was data mined, I actually didn't ever see any of these, by the way. Whenever I say that I see them, I didn't see them like in an official capacity where I was out at DLC 1 or 2 for the capture events. They weren't part of that or anything. I'm speaking just from data mined information and some footage out there from PC data miners that piece these all together. But Blades is something that is tactical knives only, but then underneath it, it also has two other modes tethered to it. One being Sticks and Stones, which is accompanied by, of course, even the bankrupt portion of the menu that you end up seeing that has been there from the very beginning. That's something that I really hope will come back into the game, but we have, again, no indication that it will. It seems like a lot of this has been progressed, but not nearly close enough to the completion point where we might see it in the near future, but maybe in a little bit of time in which we end up seeing that throughout the summer at some point. But then the other one underneath the Blades topic of discussion is the game mode All or Nothing, which again is a ton of fun, but this one had a lot of different developmental issues associated with it. Again, this probably comes in part due to the fact that it was not completed or close to completion whenever it was data mined, but that was something that was in the game files that of course would be a fantastic way, I think, to bring something classic back to the community. But moving along to the final game mode that we can see out of the game files, that dealing with one that again may have been a little bit cut simply because it was there from the very beginning at that beta PC build that was data mined, but this was something we've yet to see from there, but that being search and rescue. Now this, my first immediate thought with this is that of course we probably won't see this, but instead it's left over from Advanced Warfare, because this was also something that was seen in Ghost and Infinite Warfare, but it also was in Advanced Warfare for a time as well. So if it's there from that base core building blocks of the game, and a lot of game development, you'll see that there isn't a lot of times where everything is completely wiped and everything is built from the ground up. Whenever you continue these things on, some of the core components still stay there from previous titles. So World War II was built upon what Sledgehammer did with Advanced Warfare, so it was probably just left over there in the game files as a result. And therefore, I don't think that we'll necessarily see search and rescue, but it is still there in the game files. But ultimately, that is 8 different game modes that we have yet to see. Maybe some we'll never see, and maybe some we'll see in the near future or the distant future. But World War II still has a lot of different things hidden throughout the game files that are either being worked on, either not being worked on, or maybe completed but just not there publicly visible for everyone to see. So that's a lot of stuff that we do have on the table. There's a lot deeper than what we initially went into yesterday in the terms of what we may see for other Weekend Warfare playlists coming up, or if there's something tethered to a new event, that's something that we may see as well. So again, we end up seeing all this kind of stuff, and the possibilities are wide open for what we can end up seeing going into the future of World War II. So that said, I want to let you guys know about it. I thought it was very interesting and something that I wanted to kind of clarify myself a little bit yesterday, because I went back and watched yesterday's video and I was like, you know what? I'm actually kind of wrong on this part. So I wanted to clarify that, remedy it a little bit, and also tell you guys about what may be in the future. But that said, love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to within Call of Duty World War II in terms of game modes, or do you not necessarily care about any of these on the table? Do you guys have something else in mind you'd like to see? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed the video though, make sure you drop a like down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get kicked from outside of YouTube, practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get more active over there, posting some pictures from the reveal event, and I got some cool stuff coming up soon that I'll be sharing with you guys as well. So that's it. If you guys want to follow over there, that link is also in the description. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. Take care and peace.